One Live studios, it's the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help you tackle financial issues no matter how big or small. We help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan. And now, here is your host, the owner and lead financial coach at Strong Tower Consulting, Justin Bennett.
And we are live here at the Webcast One studios. It is the Strong Tower Financial Hour. I am your host, Justin Bennett, and thank you for joining our show, where we do help people from being broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. If you missed last week's show, you missed an awesome, awesome show. We had several different folks on our show explaining how they became completely debt-free. Not just debt-free with the credit cards and the cars, but debt-free with the house, money in the bank, and no real financial worries. And so if you missed that, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. You don't want to miss it. So if you missed last week's show, go back and take a look. You will want to watch that. But today's show is nonetheless awesome as well. We have several guests that will be with us today. We have some missionaries with us that, while raising support, have paid off a lot of debt, and even after going through the coaching process, have also paid off more debt. So we're going to talk how they did that. We're going to have Steve Bensema, one of our sponsors from Remax Real Estate, and we're going to talk about buying your house. Again, this is springtime, and the snow's gone, and the temperatures are rising, which means time to look for a house. And then also, we're going to bring back one of our first guests from our first show on not only how coaching changed their lives, but check this out. They recently just bought a Lexus for $500. How would you like to own a Lexus for $500? We're going to talk about that on our show today. And again, thanks for joining us. Well, as a part of our show today, again, we're going to have some missionaries with us, Matt and Amy Klein from Ames, Iowa. Matt and Amy, how's it going today?
We're doing well.
Yeah, it's going good.
Awesome. Well, so you guys are missionaries, and how long have you been working in the mission field?
Yeah, we graduated from Iowa State University. I a little earlier than her, but we are about to have been in the full-time missions for about a year now. So
wow. And what's that like the first year in?
Oh, it's been busy. It's been hectic, but really rewarding, and love being with students and working with them, and yeah, so rewarding to work for the Lord.
Yeah. And you guys are part of, well, what I used to call Campers Crusade for Christ, and now it's called Cru, right?
Cru,
Right.
Yep. We work with college students in the greater Iowa region. So we're based primarily in the Des Moines and Ames area, but we work throughout Iowa with students.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So walk us through, maybe we'll start with you, Matt. Walk us through when was it when you said, we might need to have someone else help us with our finances here?
Yeah. It was after we graduated, and I had been working a different full-time job. And together, she was still a student at that time. We had more than $30,000, maybe $35,000 in student loan debt. And we knew we needed to pay that off. And my parents, they'd went through some financial coaching with someone from Dave Ramsey, and I just knew we needed something like that because what we were doing wasn't working.
And what wasn't working, if I may ask?
For us, what wasn't working was we just made sure we didn't spend more money than we had, so we weren't really getting anywhere. We weren't going deeper, really, but we weren't going anywhere either.
What would you say to that, Amy?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was fun because we were newlyweds. We'd just gotten married in December. Matt graduated the day that we got married. Actually, he was supposed to walk across the stage, and he chose to get married instead, which was great of him to do that. And so while he worked a full-time job, I was in school still. And so during that time, we weren't really on the same page financially. I just didn't have a lot of time to talk about it or to know where we were at or what was going to go on. And obviously, my student loans were still being used at that point in time. So I think that we almost didn't even think about getting rid of it or getting rid of it as early as we probably should have. And so it was just good to meet and get on the same page. We really needed to do that, I think.
So what was it like? You hired me as a financial coach, and were you nervous at first, or were you excited? What went through your mind?
I didn't know what to think. I just knew we had to go somewhere. I don't know what Amy thought. I was the one who kind of pushed for it, so she might have more thoughts on that, but I just knew we had to, and was going to do what we needed to get done. So
We did a great job as a cheerleader because it worked. What about you, Amy? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Or
No, I was really excited. I mean, I think that, Matt's been a great leader financially for our marriage and for things like that. And so I was just excited when he said that we could go and we could talk about how we're going to get things done. And I really like talking about things and planning things and getting things figured out and things like that. That's really my personality. And so when we came and met with you, and then we even decided to put a little time in there before our first meeting, I was like, come on, let's just do it. Like this week, let's go, So, so I was really excited for it.
Very cool. So as we went through the coaching process together, how did you see your conversations with Matt change and evolve?
I think first and foremost, like the budget conversations changed. Like we had talked about them. It's like Matt said, we tried not to spend more money than we had and things like that. So we definitely talked about it, but it's almost like we talked about it with more direction afterwards. We kind of knew what we needed to figure out. You had some questions for us right up top, so we got to talk about what situation we were in, which most of the time I don't even pay attention to that stuff, so I didn't really know where we were at or what was going on, how much we had combined, because we'd been singles for all of our college career almost. And so it was nice to have some direction and know what to talk about, how to talk about it, where to start even to begin our planning process.
You bet. What about you, Matt? How did you notice that it changed?
Well, we started talking about them, and one thing I noticed, now we've been married more than a year.
All right.
After you get married, you do things together, and you take two things that I kind of would just do on my own as a single person. I would have to talk to it. I'd have to talk it through with Amy to be responsible and to be loving in that way. And I wasn't doing that really before. I was just, I thought I had a handle on things, but we definitely weren't always on the same page, and we needed to be. And that's what the monthly talking about the budgets and talking with you about our plan for the future, getting our debt paid off and saving really, really gave and added to us.
Awesome. So 90 days in, you guys paid off, I look back, $8,000 in debt, which is awesome in 90 days to do that. How did you guys pay off this debt?
Yeah. What's really interesting about that is it wasn't while we were working. We both weren't working a job. To work for Campus Crusade or Cru, we're supported missionaries, right? And it took us time to raise support before we were earning a salary on campus working with students. And that was actually the time when we paid off the debt. So, we just took a really realistic look at our budget and slashed it again and again with you.
People are going to come with a budget slasher now.
Yeah, hopefully in a good way. And we were able to sell a car and buy a car that was cheaper and probably more realistic for our price range. As well, we cashed in a universal cash life insurance plan. And so those three things, it was amazing. It was just...
Yeah.
Well, and here's the interesting thing is you guys did this, you sold the car, and the whole thing about term insurance, just a quick for the viewers watching, I'm only a fan of term insurance, not of whole life policies, cash value policies, and if you've got those, I recommend getting term first before getting rid of those. But for Amy, for you, this was a real challenge because your mom is in the financial industry.
Yeah, my mom's an insurance agent. She's a really good one, and I think she's a very smart lady and has done a lot of good stuff as far as financially to set up her children, her family, and everything. But when we started meeting with you and started talking about some different things, it became clear that our thoughts were a little different and that, not wrong necessarily, but just a different way of doing things. And as we came to her, she's just always been really great at looking at a plan and seeing that the plan is good, and so as soon as we would come to her and we'd have, this is what we're going to do. This is the step-by-step process that we're going to take to get out of our debt right now and to get Matt life insurance so that so if anything happened, he'd be covered and things like that. And as soon as she started looking at it, she was like, this is good. This looks good. You're paying off a lot of money and that's all good. And then when we asked her about the car was a gift from her to me for graduation, and I was a little nervous about selling it, and she was actually like, oh yeah, I thought of that. So, and we were like, oh, So she was just waiting for us to figure it out, I guess.
Well, what I thought was really cool about, I've never met your mom, but what I thought was really cool is, our oldest is 15, so we're almost in that college stage, is she still showed, I'm protecting my kids, but I'm going to let them make decisions. And I remember our conversations, how she was wanting to hear, okay, so why are you saying no? Not just because I've said so, or Justin says so, or Mom said so. You had to walk through with your mom how you saw this. Right. And I thought it was really interesting. I even took note of this. She said she was super impressed with how you handled that. So, because that's not easy when we grow up and we may have a little bit different view, whether it's on finances or anything. So the fact that you were able to have that conversation and it was a really good thing, that's just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, she was really understanding, and I think that she even started to see us a little more as adults because we were thinking about our finances probably for one of the first times seriously, and started seeing Matt as a good leader for our finances.
So you guys would probably say that your financial stress overall went down significantly, getting your money under control.
Yeah.
So what would you tell others, whether it's be missionaries or other folks that are wanting to do what you guys have done, what would you tell them, this is what you need to do in order to win with money?
Yeah, I mean, obviously where we're at and where we've come and the progress that you've talked about is just as it's come. The attitude I've got now is I can't pay off this debt fast enough. And that's the attitude, just to focus everything on, like, be very focused with your financial goals and only focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. And that currently is the step we're on. That's what we're focusing on is that, paying off debt.
And how has that affected you guys in the mission field? I mean, that's got to because if you're trying to serve the Lord and you've got money problems, that's hard to do. How has that been helpful?
Right. That has been probably one of the main reasons, one of the other main reasons we wanted to come and talk to you is because obviously we are supported by concerned churches and individuals who value what we're doing. And I want them to know I'm doing everything I can to serve God in ministry and with my money. Because obviously we're just stewards. We're just stewarding it, and we want to make sure we're doing everything we can. But it does help to know that when we get a paycheck, we know where it's going. We know it's enough. Just those kinds of things. We know, we don't have to worry. Oh, what if we lost a supporter? That it's not a fear we have.
And so if they want to check out more about you guys, where can they do that?
On www.theklinetimes.com, you can check more about our ministry, our lives, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
And here's a cool thing also, guys. After coaching, they have paid off another $8,000 in student loan debt. So since financial coaching, $16,000 in student loan debt paid off. They're going to be debt-free, I believe, by the end of the year, beginning of next. That is awesome. When we come back, Steve Benson with RE/MAX after this.
Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I'm administrative manager.
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family. You know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
And we are back at the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we do help people from being broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. Not sure if you missed, but boy, if you missed, we had a great client testimonial here in our last segment. Matt and Amy Klein, as missionaries, not only finished raising their support, paid off $8,000 during 90 days of coaching and student loan debt, paid off an additional $8,000 since, and they're going to be debt-free by the end of the year. That is just awesome. Well, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it is now April, and the weather is getting better. The snow is melting, and it's that time of year to be buying a home or selling a home. And one of our sponsors of the show is Steve Bensema with RE/MAX Real Estate. Steve, how's it going?
It's going great, Justin. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now, we're going to share something cool here. You were going to be here live in the studio, but you couldn't make it. Why was that?
Well, I met one client at 1 o'clock that wanted to make an offer on the spot on that house, and then had to go meet another client shortly after that wanted to write another offer on a different house. So
wow.
I had to sell some houses this afternoon.
So you were doing it.
Trying to. Keeping people happy.
Very cool. Well, whenever you're on the show, I always like to remind folks, because we may have new viewers or old viewers that maybe have forgotten, what makes you different? Because you state over and over again, you're really not a realtor. Walk us through that.
Yeah. Really, I try to approach my job as a consultant. And what that really takes is me trying to put my client's needs first. So really trying to focus on, when I'm working with a seller, trying to figure out what's your objective. Is it to sell quickly? Is it to net the most? Is there a certain payoff we're shooting for? Or on the buyer side, it's really working through not what the bank is telling them they can afford, not what they want to be able to afford, but what can they afford. To really walk them through figuring out from a budget standpoint. I never want people calling me in 2 to 3 years to do a short sale, and I want people to be able to order pizza on Friday and not be worried about the mortgage coming out on Monday.
Wow, that is awesome. And you've got a new slogan or a tagline. What is that?
I've been just saying, I'm where a house becomes a home. There's a lot of things that go into a house, but it's really the family and the heart that make it a home.
That's awesome. That's one of the things. That's the reason why I have him on as one of our sponsors is because, like he said, if you're looking for a $150,000 house, and hey, how cool would it be if we can find the same thing at $130,000? And there's so many other things that he does that are different. But with spring in the air and buying a house, why is it so popular in the spring? Is it just the weather that brings everybody out looking for a house, or why is it popular these times?
I'd have to talk to some agents over in California or Florida and see if they have the same seasonality. I think now that the snow's gone, summer's coming, and people are thinking, well, if we're going to move, we got to do it sometime when it's nice out.
So obviously you had 2 offers today, but how are we doing so far in 2013 in the real estate market?
Justin, we have been seeing again, which we've not seen this for a while, homes will come on the market. If they're priced well and look great, we will have multiple offers in sometimes less than a month, sometimes a week. Last week, I sold a house that I didn't even have on the market yet.
Wow.
Which is how the market's going right now.
So walk us through. I mean, if you have a client and they have multiple offers, why is that awesome?
Well, really, what my job is, whenever I get an offer as a listing agent, is to go shop that offer to try to get another offer. So I'll take, for example, at a house earlier this year, a couple of weeks back, we got one offer. I knew there was another interested party. I went and got an offer from those people. And because of that second offer, the first people jumped their offer another $10,000 or $15,000. And so I was able to net my sellers more by shopping that first offer to really try to get the most impact for my clients.
So what you're saying out loud is you're not settling for the one offer. If there's any way to scratch and claw to find a different one to get your client more money, that's what you're doing.
Right now, the easy thing is to get one offer. Where the real work comes in is to get multiple offers.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool. So obviously we live in the year 2013. A lot of things are online now. 20, 30 years ago, that wasn't the case. What is the benefit of having online usage, say going to your website, liveinia.com? How can a person really utilize a website like that?
Well, there's a lot of really great resources on my website that if people have a chance to go there, there's information for buyers, there's information for sellers. There's my own ELP section in there of people that I know, that I've worked with, that I trust. I don't put people on my site unless I know them, trust them, and would use them in my home. So there's several different resources. Then from a searching capability standpoint too, you can be kept up to date on the listings that I'm personally putting on, but then have access to all of the listings in our local market as well.
Very cool. So what part, let's pretend we're buyers out there and we're perusing on websites and we've Googled and we found Steve Bensima's website, again, at liveinia.com. And at what point do we need to give Steve a call and say, we're kind of serious in buying a house here?
You know, I would say sooner than later. And the reason for that is I want to be able to make sure that we're looking in the right direction. So, for example, if people are thinking, I think we can probably buy a $200,000 house, I want to get them to the lender as soon as possible, let them see what that's going to look like, and see if that is realistic, or maybe we need to change the budget a little bit. Maybe we should be looking at more $150,000 houses instead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So walk us through here. Actually, one thing I want to share with our viewers here that's pretty cool is you are in the running for Realtor Magazine to be the top 30 realtors in the country under 30. Top 30 under 30. What's it like being considered for an award like this?
I have just been so honored and blown away by this. The criteria that they really use around this it's not who has sold the most houses, it's not the most volume, but it's around interaction with the community. How are people giving back, community interaction? What kind of new strategies, methods are realtors using when we're working with our clients? How are we integrating technology? So even to be in the top 50 finalists is such an honor, but I'm so looking forward till tomorrow when I find out if I am going to be one of the 30 or not.
Ooh, tomorrow is the day.
Believe so.
Awesome. And so you mentioned something that's really cool. You're in the top 50, so even if you're 50, you're still in the top 50 according to Realtor Magazine. That's just great.
Yeah, it's a huge honor for me, especially being relatively young in a business where a lot of people have been doing this for a lot longer than I have. It's just a great asset where I can tell people, you know what, I may be young, but I'm vivacious and I'm going to get things done for you.
Well, I can tell you, too, and we actually talked about this a little bit today, is even in the community of Ames, where we both live from, and then we both work in Des Moines as well, that there are more and more folks who are hearing Steve Bensima and just how awesome of a realtor he is. And I'm not just saying it just because he's an advertiser. Seriously, I am hearing that from folks, just how he really takes care of his clients. And again, one of the things he mentioned is, looking for a house in your price range. And, what's it like? When you saw and you hear in the real estate world, a lot of times, I'm looking for a home at 150 and they want to jack it up. Well, let's see what's out there in the 170, 175 range. What does that do for someone when, no, I wanted 150 and you're cranking me up? What does that do?
When I'm cranking them down or when I'm cranking them up?
So, when they go through the transaction, it gets, cranked up a little bit, and you don't do that. You try to get them in their price range or down. But, when someone says 150 and they go and a different realtor goes to 175, what's that like for the client?
I've had some clients be kind of taken aback, be confused a little bit. I think, unfortunately, there's some people in this industry that have taken advantage of people in the past. But when I am talking with people and talking them through what they can really afford and what that really looks like, I think it really just builds a level of trust and accountability in them.
Very cool. Now, one of the things you mentioned, if someone's going to be selling a home, and right now is a great time to be selling a home in real estate, is to have it show ready. Walk us through what show ready means and what are some things people can do to begin the process of getting their house ready for sale?
Well, there's a couple of things I do even before I ever put a home on the market. There's a couple of reasons for them. These are just a couple of the points in my 20-point marketing plan. I bring a stager into every single home that I list. At least if there's furniture there, kind of work with what's there, with what's existing, really trying to get an idea on arrangement, layout, how can we really maximize the space. She's been doing it for 34 years. She does great at what she does. And so she really comes in with a really great perspective on helping clients figure out how to declutter, depersonalize, and really get their home ready to shine. So that's one aspect. And the second one is I do pre-listing inspections on my homes. So I bring out a roofing inspector to make sure that the roof is in good shape, and then also have the furnace and air conditioner, that whole package inspected as well. And now the reason for that is inspections that come up after the fact. So I always recommend buyers do a home inspection, whether they're working with me or not. So the two biggest things that are budget busters for my sellers are roofs and furnaces. And so I would rather get those things inspected beforehand, before we even put it on the market, so we really know what we're looking for.
Wow, that's really cool. So on the buyer side, right away, we're saying, hey, can we get pre-approved to get rid of that potential obligation? But then on the flip side, on the seller side, we're going, here are the common things that cause sales to either fall through or become more stressful even if they go through. And what you have said as a realtor is, I'm going to tackle those right up front for you, the client, so we can make this as streamlined as possible and as stress-free as possible.
Absolutely. And I cover the cost of those things just as part of my marketing.
Wow. So you're covering the cost of a house inspection, of the stager, and of the inspector for the heating and AC.
Well, roof inspection and furnace inspection.
Gotcha. And so when you tell that to a client, again, like you said earlier, are they just taken aback from that?
Yeah, it's one thing that I just really try to add value. I know there's been research done and how 15% are always going to buy on the highest, 15% are always going to buy the lowest. Then there's that middle section that wants to buy on value. So what I do with my clients is I show how I provide the best value to them as a consumer.
And so we got about a minute left, Steve. So tell us, why is right now in 2013 a great time to buy a home?
These interest rates are still at historic lows. My wife and I just refinanced our home into a 15-year mortgage at 2.875.
Whoa!
Did you hear that? 2.875. That is crazy low.
Wow.
And so interest rates are still low. The biggest issue right now is a lack of inventory. Interest rates are great, and that is only going to go up from here.
Very cool. Now, Steve, if someone wants to get a hold of you to buy a home or sell a home, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Go to my website, which is liveinoiowa.com, or give me a call at 515-257-6531. Again, that's 515-257-6531.
Awesome, Steve. Well, as always, thank you for being a part of what we do here. Thank you very much for being on the show today. When we come back, we're going to have a cool story about how someone bought a Lexus for $500 while getting out of debt.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hi, my name is Steve Bensmo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home. And when your host, Justin, wanted to sell his home, he gave me a call. I want to share a little bit about my buying philosophy when I work with home buyers. I always want to make sure that people are taking into consideration what home they can afford, not what home they think they can afford. So I ask a question around if they've really looked at what their budget looks like for buying a home. And there's for two reasons. One, I do not want my clients calling me in 2 to 3 years to do a short sale. And I want people to be able to order pizza on Friday night and not be worried about the mortgage on Monday. So if you're looking for a home to buy, and you want someone on your side to make sure you're buying the right home for you right now, give me a call at 515-257-6531. Again, that's 515-257-6531, or check me out on Facebook. Again, I'm Steve Bensmo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thanks.
At Conroy Insurance Services, LLC, we help families and business owners protect their most valuable assets. We have established an excellent reputation with our clients, and we will continue to strive to exceed your expectations. Our talented team of insurance professionals are always available to assist you, and that is why we are independent, trusted, and preferred. Hi, I'm Bob Conroy. Contact me for all of your personal and business insurance needs at conroyllc.com.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittysusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's gonna be brighter days. I won't stop, I'll keep my head up. No, I'm not here to stay.
Our financial hour. We are glad you are with us. We just got done talking to Steve Bensma with RE/MAX Real Estate. And before that, we had Matt and Amy Klein, who are missionaries with Cru, formerly Campus Crusade for Christ, and how they paid off $8,000 in debt in 90 days by hiring me as their financial coach. And even after that, paid off an additional $8,000. So they've paid off $16,000 so far. They're looking to be debt-free later this year. If you missed that, go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. We put these videos up there. Usually within 24 to 48 hours, we pop these videos on there. So if you missed them or wanted to rewatch them, so you can watch them. Well, we've been talking all show long about a guy who got a Lexus for $500, and he was one of our clients, him and his wife, John and Joe. I said John, and I knew that wasn't right. Joe and Natalie. How's it going?
Good. You?
Doing well. Doing well. So walk us through, how are things going financially prior to hiring me as a coach?
Yeah, a mess. It was just literally a mess. At that time, we really, being married a few years and just had a child, and things just didn't know which direction to go. No budget, just barely hanging on, and so good thing we found you.
So, what was the breaking point when you said, "Okay, this is enough. We got to find someone to give us some help here"?
It was what as a father, you're watching your son grow up, and you're sitting there thinking, what's he going to have in 10 years or 12 years? You start thinking about the college and the education, but really what it meant was we're it doesn't matter what we buy, we don't have any comfort or contentment, and that's probably what really pushes over the edge. Even though we had nice new things, it just wasn't showing anything.
So you had the nice house, the nice car, and you're going, this is not what I signed up for.
Absolutely. It's one of them feelings where you thought maybe you're doing the right thing, you look good in front of everybody else, but inside there was nothing left.
So you guys came to me and said, yes, well, let's sign up for this 90-day coaching program. Were you scared, nervous, just jacked, let's get doing this? How was it?
I think everybody's going to be a little bit suspicious of, is this really going to work? But when you sit down and you talk to you and you hear other stories and the excitement and also the spiritual things of what you don't really put them together, and you think about it, you're just like, well, there's nothing. All we have to do is to try. If we don't try, then it's not even worth it. But at least we can try. So that's the suspicious kind of slowly left itself as the more you tried.
So what was it like for you and Natalie prior to getting your money? Were you guys getting along about money? Were you not getting along? How was that going?
It was one of them where, I kind of paid the bills, and the wife just kind of says, well, just let them, whatever it is, because her frustration was kind of above and beyond. But more so the fact that if just fighting about money all the time of this is where it's going, and this is what we don't have, or this is what you do have, and for my wife and I, we really never saw eye to eye as fact of what we really do need or what's more of a pleasure buy. And since going through the steps, that really brought us both together because we could sit there and we could talk about it one-on-one without an argument.
How was it going through the first month, doing a budget for the first time, not fighting about money for the first time? Walk us through that first month going through this process.
It's scary because when you go from a no budget lifestyle to a budget lifestyle and you put it on paper and you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do and we're going to do this, and when something comes up, because like you said, no matter what, there's going to be an emergency, and you're thinking if we go over, then there's no other way we can do it, and it really makes you scared because before there was no budget. So if something did come up, you're like, well, I'll kind of postpone this bill to here, and then we'll come back and take care of this emergency. So it was really scary.
And so at the end of the first month, was it as scary as it felt? Or was it, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Plus, we're getting the excitement of really thinking about, hey, what if we continue this in the debt-free? And we did, once we put the budget in place and we followed the steps, we actually saw a relief saying, well, we have it here. Before we had no budget, so we just spent whatever. And now that we have it here, we know it's here. And so it kind of gives you the enthusiasm to keep going.
And so once you get that initial excitement, then it's like, okay, that light at the end of the tunnel, there is hope that, yes, we can do this.
Absolutely. And that's exactly how it felt, too.
Cool. So you guys had to make a pretty big decision. That's probably a tough decision. What was that decision you made that kind of jumpstart this besides doing a budget and hiring a coach?
It was the new car.
Uh-oh, the new car. What did you have? What did you have for the car?
We had a 2009 Toyota Highlander, and we bought it brand new. Owned it 3 years, $621 a month car payment, but by golly, it was new.
It was new, and I don't care.
Absolutely. But that was the biggest and the hardest thing, not only for ourselves, but socially as well.
So what was that like watching this brand new car, new owners, not you in there, and you're watching it drive away? Were you going, what did I just do? Or were you going, this is awesome?
Well, it was actually pretty funny because and this is bad that we thought this, but we're like, we're getting rid of this debt. And the people that are buying this are going into debt. But we were getting out of debt. And so we were actually really excited. At first, you have to make a commitment. And once you make that commitment, you're willing to be committed on that. You're just like, hey, this is what we have to do and let it go. So we were actually, I can't say totally excited because we were a little bit down a little bit because we were like, hey, we've never been without a new car that was supposedly reliable for everything else. But in the background, we're like, hey, we're going to be all right.
So what car did you get at the time?
At that time, we bought a 2000 Oldsmobile Intrigue at that time.
Very good. So 2000 Oldsmobile Intrigue. And how much did you pay for it?
$900.
$900. Mm-hmm. And so obviously, as you know, going to point A, point B, and Oldsmobiles, they're reliable transportation. But I called you over the weekend, and I said, hey, how's that beater car treating you? And you go, oh, do I have a story for you? This is where the Lexus comes in. Share us the Lexus story.
Well, I don't usually get very surprised or really good luck like this, but it was just one of them acquaintances that I came across, and she was like, this thing is just a piece for my husband's car, is just a piece. And I was like, what's wrong with it? Oh, everything is wrong with it, just everything. I thought, I have a 2000 Oldsmobile that, it clunks on every bump you go over, but it gets me everywhere. And I put a lot of miles on that thing for cheap. But talking with her, she's just like, it needs everything, and it's just not worth it. And I thought, well, geez, what is it? What kind of car is this? And she goes, it's a Lexus. I'm like, a Lexus? Well, what year? She's like, 1999. And I said, well, geez, you know how many miles are on it? And she goes, nah, there's got to be 200,000. I just thought, well, why don't you go home and texts me, well, how many miles are on it. And so later on, she texts me, and there's only 161,000 on it. And I says, well, what do you want for it? She goes, I'll be happy if I got $500 for it. And I said, I'll come and look at it. So I went and looked at it, and I thought, holy cow, this thing is just, for what I've been coming driving, it was, a Lexus. So all Lexuses come nice with leather and heated seats, 6 CD changer and all that, and it all worked just fine. So I thought that, there's, my advantage, and would take advantage of it and clean it up and drive it.
And the cool thing is it didn't even have 200,000 miles on it.
No. 161,000, and it ran really good.
For $500, you got a Lexus, and as you just said, leather seat. And there's a picture of it on the screen. You got you got leather seats, a CD changer, heated seats, and you got the big L on the steering wheel for $500.
$500.
So what did you do with the Oldsmobile?
I sold it. I sold it for what was it, $1,000. Got out of the Lexus. I bought it for $900, sold for $1,000.
So you made money.
I made a little money.
Very, very cool. So now you're driving a Lexus and you're working away. What's it been like after coaching? Is it still sticking with you? Are you falling away from it? Talk us about that.
No, it actually, when you go through the process in the program, and when you get done, you kind of like, okay, what are we going to do from here? It's either we're going to go, or we're going to kind of be stagnant. But what we did is we built our own system, and I think everybody needs to do that. And the reason I say that is I built my own system on budgeting, and ever since coaching, every single month we have a budget. I went from the electronic version to a paper version just because I can carry it with me at all times, and I have it at all times in my briefcase. So it's one of them things where putting that budget together, and I really truly believe when people and families put a budget together, and every month that comes by, you'll see how that budget will just keep building and building and building the wealth, because that's where all of a sudden you go from no budget and to a budget that puts the money in there, and you're cautious of where you're spending it. And within 6 months, next thing you know, you're like, wow, every month keeps going by, and we keep having more money to put into our debt.
Wow. So would you ever do a month ever again without a budget?
No, because in matter of fact, I think everybody will probably get obstacles where you'll get busy. And when you get busy, you think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, but then tomorrow comes and you get busy. And there are days where I'm pushing, 3 days before the first of the month that I got to get this budget for the next month done. And the stress comes back, where it's like if you don't do it, it's just going to go right back to where it is. And so it's really crucial. But at this point, you really get a system down, and to follow that system is how you're going to become successful.
And I got to believe the reason why you and your wife are still doing this is because every month the budget is not a set of rules, it's hope.
Absolutely.
So have you been paying off debt still? So every month you're still paying off some debt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you and I were talking just a little bit before, you said, well, John, that's $30,000. Well, I keep on in my head, I keep saying it's $17,000 because that's how much we have left. So yes, we've paid off another $5,200 since December.
Wow.
And when you're going through this, you kind of have to come back and get back on the rhythm of what you kind of left off, and then go back to the debt snowball, and that's currently what we're working on.
Well, you guys did awesome, paying $25,000 off in debt while with coaching, $5,000 after coaching, and we're just getting the year started. And as you said, you're only $17,000 away from being debt-free. How awesome that's going to be awesome. Thanks for being on the show today. When we come back, we're going to talk about credit cards. Is it good to have one or not? When we come back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little, until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
My name is Justin Bennett with Strong Tower Consulting, where we passionately coach individuals, families, and businesses to make better financial decisions that help create success and eliminate financial stress. I offer a free 30-minute consultation where we find out where your situation is. I explain how I do my coaching services. Then it's up to you whether you want to continue. The Bible has, depending on who you believe, 800 to 2,000 scriptures that talk about money alone. So it's a pretty important subject in God's eyes. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing, is help them see God's ways of handling money. You know, it's interesting. Most people that I ask, what would it be like to be debt-free? The common response is, I don't know. I don't think it's possible. But in 90 days, most of my clients go from, I don't think it's possible, to I'm excited. In 2 years or less, I will be debt-free. There's no tricks, no gimmicks, nothing being sold here. It's just learning how to do money well. This is Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan.
Hi, I'm J. Michael McCoy for Adam Albrecht, financial planner and AO Wealth Advisor. Adam, tell the folks listening today, just who is Adam Albrecht?
I am a certified financial planner, and I created AO Wealth Advisory a couple years ago to be able to help people with their finances all the way from basic budgeting on to retirement and estate planning.
All right, now that we know who you are, what do you do? How do you help people?
I help people by focusing on 3 key areas, on what they earn, how they invest it wisely, and then also where they give it on, whether it's onto charity or onto family, but do it from a biblical base, using verses that have been around forever, transcendent knowledge that's been around 4,000 plus years.
Call Adam Albrecht, a financial planner with AO Wealth Advisory. Give us your number, Adam.
Yeah, 515-224-7849.
Advisory services offered through Investment Advisors Corp., an SEC-registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Broker Dealer Financial Services Corp., members FINRA and SIPC. Thanks for watching.
And we are back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Thank you again for joining us, where we do help people from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan. What a great show we've had so far. If you've missed this, go to our website. We'll have this up in about 24 to 48 hours. This is a great show where our Facebook page is facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. And on there, we'll post a YouTube video of this show. So today, on today's show, we had just talked to someone who not only paid off $25,000 while going through my coaching program, they have paid off $5,000 since. And one of the cars that they just recently purchased was a 1999 Lexus for $500. Wow. We also had Steve Bensma on with RE/MAX Real Estate talking about now being a great time to buy your next home. And we had some missionaries on, Matt and Amy Klein, who also were clients who've paid off $8,000 in student loan debt in 90 days of coaching and have paid $8,000 off since then, and they're on their way being debt-free this year. Well, to wrap up our show today, I thought it'd be fun to read you a blog here, and I've got it here. I'm going to read it. A blog actually that I wrote last week, and actually a lot of you have made comments on it, and it's about whether or not having a credit card is needed. And actually, it's more specific than that, and it's called Thanks But No Thanks. So I'm going to read this blog because, again, it's gotten some attention, and your feedback's always welcome. If you ever want to reply to this, just go to strongtowerconsulting.com under Justin's Jabber or Justin's blog, and you'll see it entitled Thanks But No Thanks. And it reads this way. Shouldn't it appall us when someone offers us a chance to be indebted to them, as if it's a good thing? A couple of weekends ago, my family and I went to Kohl's, the new Kohl's store in Ames, Iowa. There had been a lot of buzz about Kohl's coming to town, and so we made the effort to check out the latest thing happening in Ames. However, as soon as I walked through those electronic sliding doors, I was shocked by how I was greeted. As I entered the store, a very professionally dressed young woman greeted me by asking me this question: if I had a Kohl's credit card. I said no. Her next question was, would I be interested in completing an application to receive a Kohl's credit card? Again, I said no. You may have heard how the first impression is everything. My first reaction to this was, really? The first thing I am greeting with as I walk into the store is someone offering me a credit card? I mean, the lady was polite and professional, and it was not like she was begging me to sign up. But still, the fact remained that I could not even get 2 steps into the store without being asked if I had a Kohl's card. And that really baffled me. Since when is a friendly greeting an offer of debt? How about a simple hello instead? My 15-year-old son and I had discussion about all of this. We talked about how sad it is that department stores rely so heavily on the revenue from their credit card sales, and how a lot of people get drawn into the credit cards like insects drawn to a flame. What's worse is a lot of these department stores now have requirements that certain employees, usually the cashiers or someone in sales, have to have X amount of credit cards applications in a certain time frame, otherwise they may lose their job. The common question they ask is, what's in it for me? That is a question they attempt to market us to, they being the retailers to us consumers. That is why they pitch to us. You can get things like 10% off purchases using their credit card, or X amount off for points, and you can redeem them for something awesome. That is called sales and marketing. They are trying to show you the benefits of signing up and using their credit cards. The problem is that you really don't get any real benefits. Let's take a look why not. Number one, usually they build the discount into the price of the item, which means you didn't lose any money, you really didn't gain anything. Second, it has been proven when you spend with plastic instead of cash, you will spend an average of 12 to 18% more. And the department stores know this about you. And lastly, if you're really interested in saving money, you can purchase most retail items on eBay, Craigslist, consignment stores, etc. Now, I'm not writing on this to pick on Kohl's. In fact, I'm not sure of any department store that doesn't fit this description. The bottom line is that businesses are focused more than ever to try to get you to buy their product and to use their credit cards in the process. Remember, at the end of the day, this benefits them, not you, the consumer. If you're still not convinced, then ask yourself this question: what kind of friendship would we have if I begged you to borrow money from me every time I went to your house? Think about that. How would our friendship be if you and I were friends and I was at your house, and every time I came over, the first thing you said was, you want to borrow money from me? That'd be different, wouldn't it? But you go to all these retailers, Kohl's, JCPenney's, doesn't matter. You just pick the store, Gap. I mean, you get in the store, and if they don't ask you while you're in the store, when you go to the line, Best Buy, Lowe's, Home Depot, all of them, I mean, as I think them through, I don't know one, you go in there, and as you go to pay for whatever you buy, well, you need that Kohl's card or that Lowe's card, you'll get 10% off. And you just, wow, you're missing out. You're not somebody without this card. And so I wrote about this. And the question I asked for you who go visit my blog, and again, thank you, the question was this: do you believe you are saving money by getting the discounts and the points awarded to you by the department store credit cards? Are you winning? Are you really saving money when you get these cards? Let's read some of your responses. First one is from Marianne, and she says, I agree. I had the exact same thought. Not only are credit cards bad in general, but the retail stores have a very high interest rate. A lot of folks, when they get in the retail cards, they'll get 18 to 24% that fast with those credit cards. Elizabeth writes, you know, I'm still one of those weirdos who pays my card off every month. So yes, I have a Kohl's card because I shop there frequently and get some seriously good coupons. I have never paid them any interest or any late charges. I also just managed to get 2 free plane tickets with my MasterCard, which I once again pay off every month. I think you can get some great discounts if you pay everything in full monthly. However, if you can't be disciplined to pay it off every month, and then in parentheses, which I think describes most people, stay far away. John writes, I never will own a credit card. Do I have a debit card? Yes. But with the credit cards, I have seen so many people go into debt and file for bankruptcy. I have made an oath to myself that I will never have one, and I am keeping the oath. When I receive applications in the mail, they get torn up, thrown away without being opened. Why is it that all stores must insist on their customers having store credit cards? Steve Benson, who was on our show earlier, wrote, I remember Dave, referring to Dave Ramsey, mentioned one time that the amount of Sears makes off their credit department versus their retail sales, and Sears effectively is a credit card company with a bunch of stuff out front. Thanks for sharing, Justin. Another Justin, not me, said this in response to an earlier post: perks are great. I agree, there are definitely some great deals you can take advantage of with proper use of a credit card. The whole problem is that people forget to factor in risk associated with credit cards. Paying your balance off every month is great, but I can guarantee there will be some months where that money designated for your credit card is going to go somewhere else, to things like small car repairs, unexpected family events, a forgotten birthday, etc. Then when you are stuck with a balance, you have to wait until the next payday to pay it off. By then, the chances are you have paid a little interest as well, therefore more than likely nullifying your savings that you've obtained by using this credit card. The point is that when you use money that is not yours, even with the intention of paying it back in a timely manner, you're gambling that the hope that you will be able to pay it back. Sometimes the chance of losing is very slim, but there's still a chance. John writes, thanks for the commentary and your crusading efforts, and thank you so much for helping other people. Vicky writes this, and she got real personal. Credit cards, credit cards, credit cards. All a person needs is a debit card associated with your checking account. My husband left me in a business we owned together. Once the word got out, sales sank, and I had to pay business expenses with a credit card. In the divorce, I had to pick my battles, so choose to pay $65,000 in business credit card debt in exchange for a lifetime alimony. Until we settled, I had to use temporary alimony to pay monthly credit card bills and then turn around to use them for groceries. I needed my good credit rating. Of course, those accounts are now paid and closed. Do not sign for them. Don't transfer balances. One word, don't. And the last thing I'm going to read, and then we're going to do quick comments here, is from Lee. Lee writes, I agree never to use a credit card without the money to pay for it. I have used credit cards over 15 years and never carried a balance. The key is to already have the money before you spend. So have a 6-month emergency fund and savings on top of that. Use the savings over the emergency fund for the credit card payments. That way, if an emergency comes up, use the emergency fund instead of the money you have set aside. Skipping down here, it says, so buying gas and credit cards give me gift cards for the Gap, for clothes for my kids. I only buy things for items on sale. And lastly says, after 15 years of doing this, I've gotten $10,000 in gift cards by credit cards. Those are 9 different people who responded to this little blog. And 7 of the 9 said, credit cards, yuck, yuck, yuck. 2 of them said, only if you have discipline, use credit cards. So what's the answer? Are credit cards safe? Should I use them for purchases? What does Justin think about them? Don't use them. Don't have them. Cut them up. Shred them. Close the accounts. You don't need them. Yes, you heard that there were 2 people. So out of that, it's about 20%, which is pretty high. I would actually say, and I don't know if there's any studies that say this, but I would feel pretty close that maybe 10% at best of America can be safe with their credit cards and pay them off every month and not spend extra. What about you? Do you spend extra? I mean, think about it. All you have to do is imagine your block that you live on and 10 households, and according to those numbers, 20%, 2 of the households are responsible with their credit cards. Why do you want to chance it that you're not going to be responsible? I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to who they start out with a credit card just to build their credit rating or for online purchases, or I'll pay it off every month and get the points, get the cash back. And they did that faithfully until they lost a job, or the car blew up, or the kids had to go get braces and they couldn't, and the dental insurance didn't cover very much of it, and they had to pay for it. And now they're either borrowing on the credit card, or they did a debt consolidation loan with their 401k because they had other debt. And they never thought they would use a credit card for other things other than what they were going to buy. But they ended up using it. I mean, you heard one lady going through a divorce and how painful that was. It was so painful, never again. Yes, there were 2 other folks that mentioned we pay it off every month. Look, we got $10,000 in gift cards. We had another person that said it funded 2 of their trips. Well, why wouldn't you want to use a credit card? And again, I'm going to ask you, why would you want to take that chance? Why? All these businesses, they know this about you. They know, again, the average, you'll spend an extra 12 to 18% more. And if you don't believe me, put your credit cards away for 30 days. Set aside a specific amount before you walk into Kohl's or the Gap or Lowe's or whatever. Set aside a specific amount for the month. And see if you notice any different buying habits. You might surprise yourself. You may not buy as many things as you think. So again, if you think that credit cards are good to use, you might be one of the rare person that can do this. But if it were me, I wouldn't chance it. Now, today on today's show, you heard several folks talk about how they got out of debt and they're working to get out of debt and it's changing their life. They talked about signing up for coaching. A little bit weird, but they did, and it changed their life. How would you like to change your life by signing up for financial coaching. It does work. And how you can do that's go to my website, which you see on the screen, strongtowerconsulting.com. Click the link for free consultation, and we'll do a free 30-minute consultation to see where you are and show you how I can help you like I help others. Well, thanks for being a part of the show today. I want to thank Ryan Northfield, our producer, Webcast One Studios for the use of their facilities. And again, at Strong Tower Financial Hour, we help take people from being broke and scared and give them hope with a plan.